Hi, living in Boulder vlog for March 22nd, 2020, Sunday, 7 a.m. So, I, yesterday, I've been sucking on these things. These things, have been helping me with my asthma. I didn't even take a hit of my, Advair yesterday. So, yeah, maybe if I just suck on these all the time, I'll never have to take an inhaler. I'm super curious to see if that happens. It's gonna be amazing. Oh my god, I'll do a YouTube video about it. Maybe the cure for asthma literally is just sucking on some inhaler. I don't even know what it is. I'll have to ask my mom. But like essential oils are juices from flowers and plants, like 100% natural, zero added, 100% natural. You just boil it in a vat, and then the steam goes up through a tube, and then it falls down, and whatever drips down is the life blood, the water juice of the plant. And then it goes to you put water in it, and then it just goes to the top, and you can see the oil layer, and you just scoop the oil top, and that's 100% essential oil. And then you drip that in here, and you suck on it. It's like maybe there was a better cure for asthma hundreds of years ago than even today. We'll see. Because I didn't take my Advair yesterday. It's pretty cool. Like my asthma's cleared out. It's amazing. But I also quit smoking weed the other day. So, luckily I live in Boulder, where the weather is good for asthma. Like if I lived in like a hot, humid place, I'd be dying of asthma. Or if I lived near the wrong built plant, like coffee plants, give me asthma. And anyway, so yesterday, so I'm doing two projects now because, as I said yesterday, I discovered that I don't have one of the books of Plutarch, which is called Moralia. He was alive from 46 AD to 120 AD, which is right smack dab in the absolute height of the Roman Empire. So, so I was doing a combo between that and processing these other books that I was been downloading. Finishing touches downloading, and I haven't even drug them into my folders yet. And then I think I'm going to do a little bit more searching. I'll just go to LibriVox and I'll type names of all the countries, and I'll see what I can find just by typing the names of the countries, because I haven't done that yet. So anyway, hey, and so that's one of the projects. But the other project that I'm doing is building the book of Plutarch, and it's fascinating because I'm here and copying and pasting the subjects of the chapters, which I found on Wikipedia. I typed Plutarch and Wikipedia, and then it said the book, so I went to the book. I think the book has its own page on Wikipedia called Moralia, and so at the bottom it said all of the chapters and books. So then I went to another website called Topos Text. Hang on, that's what the name of the thing is, but the website is called topostext.org. I think I maybe found out about it yesterday. I don't remember calling and seeing it. There's not that many websites that have all these books on there. There's only like a half dozen max. I guess Topos Text, this one, which is good. You have Archive. You've got Gutenberg. Hey, those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Well, not me, but but from so I went in here and I just clicked on Plutarch, and I looked down and I just saw all the same chapters that are listed on Wikipedia, because they don't have it organized the same way that Wikipedia does, like like from the original book, and I wanted it to mimic the original translator, so I'm organizing it that way. But as I was pasting it on. I think I already pasted on the menu, and now I'm doing the body. But so I read through, and as I was pasting it on to my page, I was reading the chapters, and the chapters are fascinating. I mean, I'm like, whoa. Plutarch's a full blown philosopher. Okay, and he's Roman, so that was making me happy, because I was feeling before like the Greeks had a leg up on the Romans in terms of philosophy. Romans have more of their literature preserved, but Plato and Aristotle. And then there's other Greek philosophers. But like mainly Plato and Aristotle, they were philosophers, like giving their opinions on things. And Rome doesn't really have those. The closest thing to a philosopher would be Cicero, but he's kind of like, and he's a philosopher, but a lot of his stuff is, his is just writing. It's political stuff. He was kind of like more of a politician. A lot of his stuff has to do with his court, his speeches in court when he's defending and prosecuting people. And then other ones have to do with, that Cicero writes, has to do with writing like his Philippics, talking trash about Mark Antony, and he does like have a philosophy book where he talks about stuff, but it's not, it's not really at the same level as Aristotle and Plato, where they're actually talking, like dividing things up and giving their opinions and different types of everything. The only other, the other Roman writers would be like Livy, but that's just a history book, and then Pliny, but that's just an encyclopedia. But Plutarch, he is a full blown philosopher. He's given his opinions, his personal opinions about all kinds of things, everything. He's basically writing a manual of the opinions of the Romans. That's the way I'm going to interpret it. It's a manual of what Romans think about everything. For example, like how to distinguish a friend from a flatterer. And actually, I think it's even written here. Actually, no, that's Hesiod. Like the best forms of government between the three forms of government: oligarchy, democracy, and aristocracy. And or no, kingship, aristocracy, and democracy. I think the Romans, the Plutarch in his other book had it divided up into six, but because there's the three light side and then the three dark sides of them, like democracy good, democracy bad, and then you have aristocracy good, but the flip side of that, the dark side of that, would be oligarchy, and then kingdom good, but tyranny bad. So because each of those political systems are good in a certain situation in ancient world. But just other things, opinions about, Isis and Osiris. That's the whole reason I found this in the first place. I see a guy talk about alien, like the gods of Atlantis, and he said, "Yeah, Plutarch said that the gods of Egypt are the gods of Atlantis," and I'm like, "What?" And then I found out he didn't say it in the book that I had, which was Lives of Greeks and Romans. He said it in this other book called Moralia, which I didn't even have on my website. So I didn't know that there was a book that's not on my website that I could get. I thought I had everything. So this is super exciting for you. Plus, it's very large. I don't know how many pages. Actually, I did. I did a control. I know I did. It's like 350 pages. So it's like a legit. Actually, I could. Yeah, I didn't write it down. It's a legit size book, big book. It's not like a gigantic book, but I mean, 350 pages of some dude's opinions on everything. Like, wow. So I'm super excited about that, to read it, to put it up and read it. So I don't know much longer it'll take to build this, but I also have to drag those books, final books from LibriVox into my various folders. So yeah, I was just listening. See, I was, the RAM memory that I was having to do with this was a little bit too great, and maybe I'm distracted. I don't know. But I was kind of, I listened to, I think Christ and Democracy I didn't really absorb any, and then I was listening to, can't remember, but I was even just listening to this thing really interesting here. This dude talking about quantum biology. I'm like, what? And he's talking about the influences of like, quantum field theory, like non-locality and, like the double slit experiment stuff influencing biology. I wasn't even really paying attention to it because I was too busy dealing with this and daydreaming, but I favored it and liked the video, and I definitely want to give that sucker, watch that one again. That looked interesting. All this stuff is really interesting, the science stuff all this stuff we're discovering. Whoops, almost at 10 minutes. Not going to be under 10 minutes. It's really interesting how, I mean, it's going to be amazing when we can make all this stuff common knowledge to people. Imagine when everybody can understand quantum physics, because that means that there, once everybody can understand, it'll be easier for people to get to the next level and understand that it can take everybody. So yeah, we're about to figure stuff out, and that's why it's so important to encourage people to share what they know on the internet, because everybody, we can all learn from each other. Like somebody would prefer to learn the history of Rome from their parents or their friends talking about it, as opposed to somebody they don't know, even if their friends aren't quite as good, or at least they'd like to include their friends in on it. So, or maybe not their friends, or just somebody who's like them somewhere in the world, someone who their age or their country or something. So we can all, benefit from it. And I think people would be surprised, like, and people aren't even really into history right now. For example, I'm looking at this website, and they record how many hits are in places. And I'm looking here, people have gone to the Odyssey 531 times. That's actually a lot, because with Plutarch, it's like less than 100 times. And I find that interesting because it's like the most interesting book from the history thousands of years ago. And it's on one of the only 6 sites in the whole world that have it. And so, out of a world of 7 billion people, this classic book from 2,000 years ago, brilliant philosophy book, has only been read by the entirety of the world 80 times. So people haven't discovered the classics yet. People are still too busy paying attention to what's going on in the current world. And I think we're gonna, people are waking up really fast. So I think people are gonna become interested in the classics pretty quick. But it's important to make them interested, because they're not, and it's kind of boggles my mind. You know, I think people maybe have the impression that the ancients were dumbasses and not worth listening to, because they lived in a technologically primitive world. That must have meant that they're idiots and they weren't worth listening to. But it's not true. I mean, these people are smarter than any of the writers today. And it's not to say that people in the past were smarter, although they were when it come to different forms of government, because in ancient Greeks, there's all these different little city states who were, it was like a petri dish, just experimenting with everything, and you could travel around and just see the different forms of government between hundreds of different city states. And so, they had a much better grasp of all the different forms of government than we do, but they weren't, generally smarter. But the thing is, the writers are generally smarter, because Plato and Aristotle and all this stuff, Socrates, those are the guys who survived, right? So the cream rises to the top. There were lots of writers in those days, but the ones who they preserved were the very best. And today when you read stuff, it's like you read just from everybody, and everybody can read. You don't know who the best writers are today until you wait for 2,000 years, and then you'll find out, because the cream rises from the top. It gets filtered through the years, and the people who know that the very best has to be saved and taught, then that's what makes it. So that's why Plato and Aristotle are super geniuses compared to people today, or as smart as the very smartest person of the generation, or so. But yeah, I'm really excited to listen to Plutarch here pretty soon. But I want to, yeah, I think I'm going to get back to the let me back. I did download stuff. So I was listening to stuff on like New Age stuff, because I was having trouble paying attention. So just like Zohar Gate or whatever, Gaia TV. That's really good. They're actually in Boulder. Interviews and just people, talking about the secrets and stuff. I don't know, but because this quantum biology stuff is hard. But I like Saturday Night Live too when I'm stressed out. Anyways, I've talked long enough. I'm gonna work maybe a few more hours. Yesterday I was up till 10 in the morning, got up at 6, so I slept 8 hours. I didn't sleep though. I was like laying in bed for like 2 hours, so I slept like 6 hours, and I was in bed for another 2 hours. But it's like I'm not tired at all, so I can go at least a couple more hours. I usually go until I feel a sleepy pang, and I. But so today I think I'll be able to uh, go farther book on the book, and maybe I can finish the book tomorrow, And then, and I was saying I could finish by this Sunday the whole free outer history book section. Now, if you throw in the Plutarch, maybe not. I don't know, because I wasn't planning on doing that because I didn't know it existed. But um, oh yeah, yeah. So just that's what I'm gonna do today. Just work. Oh yeah, how much longer? So yeah, if I go back, maybe I can finish. I don't know because I'll be doing them both together. So I don't know when I can finish, but I'll just be working all day today, and tomorrow I'll be a little bit farther ahead. But yeah, that's basically it. But I don't mind having to do two of these at the same time and getting bogged down on what I was doing before because hey man, to discover a book you didn't know that exists in the past, that's super exciting because then you can go and listen to it and learn some amazing things. I want to find the part where he was supposedly saying that the gods of Egypt or the gods of Atlantis, because I didn't know Plutarch talked of Atlantis, but I could actually find it really quick once I get the entire book on one page because I do that. Just Control F Atlantis, and we'll see, right? So, anyways, at 6:04, I will talk to y'all's tomorrow.